I'm sorry, I'm feeling dense getting this concept. And
thank you. Maybe it's because there's so many words attached to it. I'm not sure. The memnu part, I'm going back to. So I have a ease at getting when you can say yes to it, to a question, a request, and how that feels. And I'm missing, maybe it's because I'm in different roles, differing sides of when there's a no.
I'm saying
So
the only thing that human beings are ever saying is please and thank you. So I'm saying there is no no. It's just a request. If you are hearing
so
accurately,
if someone asks for a request and the other person asks for another request.
yes, you have two gifts on the table. First gift, and then the gift behind the no.
Which is another request.
Yes. And if two people have this consciousness, all they hear ever coming from one another is a thank you or a gift.
So could we put that into something concrete?
Yeah, let's...
Like gifts and
What would be the
requests?
situation? You ask for something. Does somebody else want to do it then if you
Yeah,
can't
I think
enjoy
that
it?
would be easier. I think I
Who
could
wants to make a
adapt it
request?
and kind of
Now,
take it in better.
You make the request.
Yeah, I'd like a 40-minute back rub.
And gosh, I'm torn right now because part of me would really enjoy doing that. And part of me is just really enjoying the calm and quiet that I've been experiencing. So would you be willing to wait another 30 minutes? That would give me...
Yeah, and I hear that you're really, it's meeting a deep need of yours for calm and quiet and serenity right now to spend more time alone.
So he now doesn't feel any rejection. He has given me a gift. And I've given him a gift by giving him the chance to give me that. But now that was fairly easy because I played my role as a giraffe. Now our real test is when we communicate this way. Try it again.
Yeah, I'd love that 40-minute back rub.
Jesus, you are the most demanding person I ever know. I just gave you one last month.
So you're feeling a high level of frustration right now because there's a lot of things you'd like to do and you don't know how to get them all.
Yes, but see, I grew up not thinking of my needs as a gift. So I can't imagine that my needs would be a gift. So as soon as I hear his needs, I feel like it's a demand. So that's not easy with such a partner who hears requests as demands. Now, he's lucky because I made it pretty obvious. His life would have been made worse if I had done this. So watch again. We're going to do the same game again. Start again.
Yeah, I'm feeling really tight and I could use a back rub.
Okay. He's going to pay for it if he gets it. He's going to pay for it. Because, but here's the worst, the most dangerous one of all. Watch this one now. Watch out if you're frightened of jackals. Be careful.
So before we go on, how do you handle that last one?
If you have giraffe ears, you know it was a yes that isn't so. So you don't allow a person to meet your needs coming out of that energy. See? You have a detector. You have to have a built-in detector in your relationship so that before you allow a person to meet any of your needs, they have to pass this test. That what they're doing is motivated only out of memnoon energy. There isn't a trace of motivation in them, doing it because they're afraid they'll be punished if they don't, hoping that you will love them more if they do, a reward in other words. No guilt, no shame, no concept of duty or obligation. So you have to have a detector, so that you never allow your partner to do anything for you that has even a trace of those things in, because the toxics will build until one day.
It's really hard for me to hear a request because I take it on as demand.
Galahad syndrome.
Yeah. And
Galahad syndrome, see, the men get the Galahad syndrome in our culture, that if you're a real man, you come to the rescue of anybody in pain in your family. You have to have solutions and advices. Women, it's the same game, but a little different. You know, if you're a loving woman, you don't have needs. You sacrifice your needs for others and so forth. But it's basically the same game. Love is sacrifice. Yes.
So Marshall, can we complete those role plays? Switch, how would you handle it if you get the, okay.
Now, right away, my energy level is I'm nervous. And so I say to the person, I'm feeling really tense right now. And I would really appreciate it if you would look inside to make sure none of the other is motivating you. Any fear of how I'll respond if you don't. Any belief that if you do, I'll love you more. Any concept of guilt if you don't. Shame if you don't. Any concept of duty or obligation. Please, 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 if any of those are mixed in, do not do as I request. Life is too short for us to do anything for each other out of those terms.
Sorry, Marshall, it's not enough for you. You want me to do this, but you would like me to be happy with this.
Yes, and unless it's meeting your need, unless you're doing it for you, don't do it, please. Don't do anything for me.
It looks too much for me. I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to be happy with this.
Yes, then thank you. Then it would be a bigger gift for me for you not to do it. Please don't do anything for me that isn't play. And it'll be play if it's coming out of Memnoon energy.
Marshall, what do you think of marriage?
We'll get to that in a moment. Let me...
I need those cards so I can give them to people to give to me. And one thing, it's sort of in response to David, a lot of times I will, in a response, I'll say, oh yes, I'd love to do that because that's what I've always said. And then 5 minutes later I realize, so
Yes.
maybe checking in when you might start to notice.
You might want to then have one of those cards for yourself.
Yes.
That reads, before I say yes, I want to do an internal check to make sure that this is coming out of Memnoon energy, that there's not a slightest trace of these others, just to slow down and make sure you're coming out of that.
I'm wondering if you'd be willing to backtrack to the no, seeing the needs that are in a no, like...
No. So what need
So
of mine might I have been expressing just now when I said no?
You have a need to do something different than what
That would
I'm
be a
asking?
strategy, but what would be my need?
Autonomy?
Possible. So Marshall, are you hearing it as a demand, and is your need for autonomy? And then I could either say yes, or I could say, oh, no, it's not so much that, but I have a need for clarity, and I'm afraid if I go to your question, I will lose the clarity that I had in mind. So would you be willing to wait? See? So in other words, it could be 100 different needs. But you, as the other person, know that until you hear the need behind the no, it's going to be hard to figure out a way for everybody's needs to get met. On the other hand, when everybody's needs are expressed and understood, the problem will solve us.
Thank you.
And I think that has to do with Jim's question about what is marriage. See, if you want to, pardon? If you want to have that, what's originally very beautiful, turn into something ugly very quick, define marriage so that once you are married, you have certain obligations and commitments. Commitments defined as demands. Now that takes what otherwise could be done joyfully and turns it into something ugly. But these concepts are very important to maintain domination structures. There's probably nothing more important to maintain domination structures than to teach people that duty, obligation, and commitments are the highest virtue.